Everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine, and I'm gonna do a weekly wrap-up. I read 3 books last week, but I don't know if you can tell. No, you can't really. I have an infection in my cheek, and so I decided to take the weekend off of working, and I sat and read. If you hear those dings, it's just group talk for my testing. But like Thursday night, my face was on fire. Like my whole entire face was on fire. So Friday night, I ended up at the hospital, and they think I have a skin infection because they can't see any abscess teeth. I'm going to the dentist this afternoon to see if I have any abscess teeth. Hopefully it'll clear up. It's taking a little while to clear up, but my face was swollen. It was all beet red. You can see the lump right there. So yeah, that's my life. Also, I'm having a problem with my feet. Joy to health problems. Let's just hope it's nothing major. So, I'll get on to the books. First book I finished was A Conflict of Interest by Barbara Dunlop. It is for the Triple RC Challenge. And this one was for a woman in power or high up. And she kind of starts dating this guy, Max. And her boss, like she's a press secretary, and her boss is like the president, kind of deal. She works as a press secretary for the president. So after he gets elected, she decides that she can't date Max because he's a investigative reporter. And kind of conflict of interest, hence the name. But then she finds out she's pregnant, and she doesn't want to let him know because he's vastly opposed to being a father, having kids, but whatever. Well, things don't always work that way. Did I give this a 4? I think I did. I really like this. Usually these I don't give more than a 3 because they're thin and they're just not so much substance. But this one I really liked. There's a couple of scenes where, really, you don't want to be a father, you'd be really good with kids. So there's that one. And then I finished Dark Prince by Christine Feehan. And this has an extra 100 pages, and I don't know where they would have taken up the 100 pages because I never read the original. I thought I had, but I hadn't. And I don't know where they could have taken it out. But if you like J.R. Ward, you probably like Christine Feehan. This is about a vampire who's not a vampire. The way she does them is they're Carpathians in the Carpathian Mountains. I'm not sure if it's like by Transylvania, Romania, somewhere in that area. And they have to find their life mate, or else after centuries of not having a life mate, they lose their feelings, their emotions, the ability to see colors. And then once they find their life mate, it all comes back. But if they don't find their life mate, itchy today. If they don't find their life mate, then they either choose, after centuries, they either go mad and go rogue, which they become the vampires of myths and legends, or they walk into the sun, essentially killing themselves. And so he's about to walk into the sun when he meets Raven. So Raven is a serial killer chaser. She is psychic, like can read minds. And so she was helping the police. She would get into the minds of the serial killers and help the police find them and solve the crimes. But then she'd have to go away and be quiet because anybody that touches her or she's around, she can hear everything. So she hears his kind of self-talk saying, you know what, I'm done. And she talks him down from killing himself. And then he realizes there's something different about her, and he's consumed, all-consuming thoughts of her. Yeah, so it was really good. It took me a little bit to finish it because, it is a chunker, and I was working, but then the face thing happened. So I just sat down for the whole entire weekend and finished it off. And yeah, so I'm definitely continuing on with this one. I like how she takes a different route. Like the vampires, they don't feed to and kill, or the Carpathians, sorry. The vampires that end up killing people, there's another Carpathian, and I guarantee his story will be later on. But he's one of the ones that chases the rogues and kills them because they do a lot of damage. Also, major point, there's very few female Carpathians left because of all the vampire hunting over the centuries. And when they do reproduce, they can only reproduce males, and a lot of the times the males don't live past 1 year. So they're hoping that with this new life mate, because she is human, that they can reproduce females and kind of remake the species, essentially. So, but there's also other stuff going on that it doesn't get into that until a little bit later, so I don't want to give any spoilers. And then the other book I finished was The Tycoon's Temporary Baby by Emily Mackay, and I actually gave this a 5. I loved it, although the cover just doesn't do it justice. There's witty banter. There is some naked scenes of him chasing the car down the street with just a towel. It's funny. It is funny. There was a couple of laugh out loud moments, but essentially it is about a woman who she's the not secretary, she's an assistant to the 3 equal partners in this manufacturing company, essentially, but a little different. So it starts off with Jonathan's really hoping that she comes back from her family funeral. Her cousin had died that she hadn't seen in years, and the whole entire office is in turmoil because she's not there because she looks after everybody. And she comes back with a baby. It's her cousin's baby, and she can't figure out why her cousin left her custody because she's got closer family that she, like a brother, but you kind of find out why later on. And so she's thinking that she has to resign because she has to move back to Texas in order to keep custody. It's a long drawn out thing. And he says, well, what do you need to be able to keep custody and stay here? Because she's in California. And she's like, well, I need a rich husband. Like, she's a trust fund baby. She's got a trust fund. But the stipulation to get the trust is different. Sorry. So she has refused her trust fund. She wants to work, make her own money. And so she says, I need a rich husband. And he said, well, I'll be that husband. It's a little bit more than that. They have worked together for 5 years. They each have a crush on each other. So it's, one of those things. And yeah, it's a 5. I don't give these 5 very often. It's funny. This one was so funny and cute, and it's not really about the baby. It really isn't. But yeah, her family comes in, like drops in on the day after they get married, and it's funny. So yeah. So I am currently reading The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Everybody probably knows what this is. It is one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite color. But it's about being in the deep south. I don't know when it actually it takes place over 4 decades, but I don't know if it's like the 1800s into the 1930s kind of timeline sort of deal. There are cars in it, so around that time, 30s, 40s. Anyways, about a black family, black community actually, with whites. But it's about a lot of abuse, a lot of cheating, a lot of uneducated people just trying to get by. and living with their lot in life. Later on, they try and, make their lives better. But there are some instances in here, if you've seen the movie, but there's a lot of instances where you're like, yes, thank God they stood up for themselves. But yeah, it's very heartbreaking. It's also, friendships and stuff like that. So yeah, and this is for the Triple RC challenge that meets a book gets turned into a movie. The other one was about the baby. There was a smile on the cover. Oh. And then I started reading Secret Lover by Shauna Delacourt, and this one is a man is on the run from being like a whistleblower in his company, and he's had a price on his life. And this woman who's a writer, it's like a 5-year-old case. There's this woman who's a writer and decides to use that case as the background for her next novel. And her editor has said, well, go to this one place, from California to Vancouver Island? Victoria Island. Vancouver Island. In BC. That she can have peace and quiet to write this novel. Well, she stumbles on him as the caretaker of this place, and it's the middle of winter. So it's not busy at all, and it just happens to be him that's on the run. And then they realize that her editor's office has been ransacked, and the only file that was taken was about her. So, yeah. She wants to know why he's on the run, because a second attempt had been made on his life while he was in witness protection. And so he knows that somebody in the government, in the federal, the people watching over him know, or is letting the people that have the bounty on his head know where he is. That's it. So that's pretty much as far as I got in that one, because I just started that last night. So the only 2 books I have left to read for the Triple RC are A Reader's Choice, which I might pick this one up, I don't know. But it's 50% Off Murder, a Goodbye Girls Mystery, and it's by Josie Bell. It's a cozy mystery, not sure exactly what it's about. Probably a girl who shops and goes to visit her the next day at the library. Everything seems to be back to normal, till they find a body of a very dead man with a knife plunged into his chest. Alrighty. And then the other one that I have to have spring in the title, or, spring happens in the book, stuff like that, is Mary Kay Andrews' Spring Fever, and this is large print, so the short chapters, lots of easy reading. So it may be a nice chunker, but it's large print, so it's about half the size of the actual book. And lots of little chapters, which I love. Smaller chapters, shorter chapters. So I'm not sure. Oh yeah, her and her ex-husband, but then he comes back, I think. Oh, that's right. He's gonna get married. She ends up going to the wedding because I don't think there's any animosity between them. It was a friendly, amicable divorce, and he decides to walk away, I think, from the bride, and might be coming back. So we shall see what that one's going to be like. And that's all I can promise. We will see how the dentist goes. Who knows? I might have 2 abscess teeth. I might have none. But yeah, because I do have problems with 2 teeth, and I have an impacted wisdom tooth, and my face is starting to get hot again. So I'm talking too much, which means my mouth is moving too much. That's one of the joys of having this infection. The more I talk, the more it hurts. So I will leave it at that, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And let me know what you guys are reading if you're participating in the Triple RC. I think it's fun. But yeah. So I will talk to you later. Bye.